All right, so this is how I talk to clients as like a 16-year-old, and this is how I don't get seen as below them. And instead, it's how I maintain the relationship so it carries on for a long time. Because that's the whole point of my business. The whole point of my business is that I get them results. They like working with me. That's why they carry on working with me, and I've got consistent revenue instead of just one-time payments. So the first thing is respecting them and realizing that their time is worth something. So normally when you talk to friends or talk to people just around you, sometimes you might not think that they're above you. For clients, they're not necessarily above you, but you need to realize that they are extremely busy. Like they don't have 10, 23 minutes of the day. Like you've got to realize that showing them that you care about their time is more important than whatever else you could do, because they like that. So when you show them that you respect their time, that's when they start to like you. That's when they start to see that you're considerate towards them. And that's when they start to like you for who you are as a person. And that's because they are actually busy. They're running, like if you're targeting the right people, if you're targeting rich people, they actually are busy. So when you're like, so for example, video editing, I've got a video editing agency. If I'm doing revisions and I don't ask them for all these details and I don't ask them for anything like this, and instead I just make it happen. And sometimes you can exaggerate if you want, but I don't recommend doing it too much. But for example, you could say, okay, let me do this, it'll take some time, and then you do it within an hour. They think that you're just very straight to the point and you're considerate of their time, which makes them like you. So number two is kind of showing your personality. So for me, I try to be as honest, as raw, and as authentic as I can be. And even though you might think like, oh yeah, you might be childish, they actually like this authentic energy that you give out, especially when you say, I want to be just like you. I'm ambitious. I want to be. Obviously, I don't say I'm ambitious, but I can describe my goals. Especially if they ask me, "What's your goals?" I describe my goals, and I say this exact word. Sometimes I say, "You are a role model. You are the inspiration." Especially if I've been following them for like 2, 3 years, which I have been for some of my clients. It's it gives them more personality. No, it makes them think of me as a real person, not just like a face or a price. It makes them feel like I'm cut from the same cloth as them, which a lot of my clients feel, because I show them that I'm hungry and I want this, and they can see it through my actions. So that's the second thing, which is like showing your ambition, showing your personality, showing your humor. Most of the time, especially if you're young, clients want to be young. Clients want to feel like they're still young. So when you make a joke, obviously our generation has got a little bit of a different humor than the older generation. So the more authentic you are, the more they're gonna want to fit in with you. It's not the other way around. Don't go around thinking that, okay, you've got to try fit in with the client. The client wants to appear trendy and cool to you. So, for example, I could want to appear mature to the client, and I could want to like be seen on the same level. But in his eyes, if you flip the tables, and in his eyes, if you make him want to be cool as you, if you like make him think you're cool and like you're down, like you're trendy and stuff, whatever, they want to be like you. And over time, I noticed that some of my clients would copy how I text. Because don't change how you text. Obviously, don't be using slang like LMK for let me know. Don't use that slang unless they're young, but don't use that kind of slang because they don't understand what it means. So just use basic way of texting. You'll just text normally, but obviously don't make it too slang, and they'll start copying the way you text. They'll start copying stuff that you do, and that's when you realize that they're looking up to you in some aspects. Obviously, they don't think you're above them, but they think you're cool. So don't try change yourself to try and make them think that you're on the same level as them, because you're not. And they're not on the same level as you because you're from a different generation. And then the third thing is setting boundaries. Like for a client, the biggest sign of a bitch is not having boundaries. If I didn't have boundaries, my clients would all think I'm bitches, and they'd try get more work. They'd try get um literally anything actually, more work, more less prices, quicker turnaround times. The number one sign of a bitch is no boundaries. So when a client says, "Can you do this?" you can show you're good natured by doing it for free. When a client says, "Can you do this?" then you can say, no, I can't do this. It's not part of the contract. I need to charge you more for this. Otherwise, I'd be taking a loss. As long as you can show you're still a good person and you have got boundaries and you do protect yourself, and don't let clients disrespect you no matter what. If a client disrespects you, like, you gotta act in some ways. I know it sounds weird, but you gotta act like a hot girl, like start ignoring them. I mean, not always, but say for example, a client disrespects you and the client wants to work with you, ignore him. If a client disrespects you outright and you want to work with them, address the issue, text them. Text them in a normal way. Text them how you would address the issue. Don't search up top 10 alpha ways to handle disrespect or something like that. Just address it how you would address it. For me, my number one line is shit, I'll find a screenshot and I'll put it up here. But that's my number one line. You can read it now. Pause the video, read it now. But typically, those three things are what's helping me just talk to clients as a normal person. So if you can show them that you are yourself and you can show who you are, that will help in retaining the clients and managing the client relations. Second is respecting them and respecting their time way more than your time. Obviously, this if it's the starting stages and you're still young, they're worth a lot more than you are for now. So that's what you've got to do. You've got to show them that you respect their time. And then third is setting the boundaries. Even though you're young, you've got to set good boundaries, especially if you get them results. That's what that's what's going to separate you from these three things is what's going to separate you from every other person or every other young person that's just starting any agency. But yeah, if you like this video and you got quick value from it, make sure you like, subscribe, check out my other videos, and comment. That's it.